Page 188. This is a sign of the time, in the present time, just as in former times. In the wisdom of the creation, however, there are also laws and recommendations of existing validity in this respect, in order to face this time emergence problem of earthly human origin. When the time comes for a life form, and demands of it new ways and cognitions, higher spirit forms then appear as teachers and prophets. Guided by the creational laws and recommendations and by spirit we forms of high spiritual levels, life forms that want to appear as teachers and prophets are supported and trained in their development. In their form, they then step before the people and teach wisdom and knowledge. They bring back the long-forgotten teaching of the Spirit and of the creation, or proclaim new knowledge and new wisdom according to the state of the respective life forms. In this case, the talk is about you Earth human beings who are still planning with thousand millions of brains to bring not only your body but also all your material riches over into the realm of the spiritual, because you do not want to tear loose from them. All your efforts will, however, be in vain, because the material of these forms cannot be conformed with the spiritual, and the time for these cognitions becomes ever scarcer for you, because the laws of the dissolution have already begun to take effect, which bring about the irrevocable end of the material values. These laws that have become effective have already become visible and feelable for a few seeing ones. Also, for the earth human beings with closed eyes and closed ears and senses, the outcoming effects of these laws have become verifiable in their course, if he or she only tries to once consider the events and changes of the past years and decades. Whether he or she simply laughs pitifully at all these events and changes, doubts or condemns them, that is fundamentally not decisive. Even if he or she laughs at the prophets and truth proclaimers of the new time, condemns them and insults them as do-gooders, etc., this is thus not of importance, because the wheel of the time nevertheless turns calmly and consistently on its course, incessantly and eternally. No laughter and insult, and no hatred and killing of prophets are able to hold it back in its course, for what the creation has once brought into motion according to its laws and recommendations in brazen regulation, no human machination or Ausartung is able to change or to stop it in its course. However bestial and barbaric the earth human being may be in their irrationality and inventive in the most malicious intrigues, they will thus still never be able to change or to destroy the laws and recommendations of the creation. However great and enormous their intrigues may be in their application and effect, they are never able to affect the creational laws and recommendations. The detrimental effects of applied intrigues and of the hatred always fall back onto the originator themselves, and very often cause them fatal damage. As the earth human beings think and act according to their self-created laws of intrigue and hatred, they have to bear the resulting consequences themselves, because in all ends they, through all negative Ausartungen, are only able to inflict evil suffering, hardship, misery, and damage on themselves. At the present time, only the hope remains for the majority of your humankind, a hope, however, which is not built upon recognition of the truth, upon knowledge, love, and wisdom, but is sustained by an irrational belief which is based on religious, delusional views. A hope, therefore, which has nothing in common with all the triumphant love of universal creation origin, and is therefore a hope for the hopelessness. But where hopelessness comes into the existence, the way ends in damnation without hope of rescue. The prophets and truth proclaimers and all human beings who do not build upon passing earthly values and recognize and acknowledge the spiritual as the true being, will stride calmly and serenely through the times during which the still unknowing ones have to fight hard battles in the grueling confusions of the untruth and the search for truth. The knowing ones have, at this time, built their house on firm and good rock, which withstands all raging storms and sturdily encases the foundation walls of the house. Therefore, the call is made to the earth human beings of the present time. Strive for it and make an effort to become a rock in the churning and raging sea of the doom and the coming time. Build a stronghold on this rock and stretch your hands out to all those who are struggling, grasping, and seeking help to reach your protective building. Give them your inexhaustible help in universal love, but let all the irrational ones who have gotten very badly out of control of the good human nature, and malicious ones, swim and drown in the raging sea of the doom, for they would destroy your rock and your stronghold, and expose you and all rescued ones to the death in the stormy sea. The hour of the examination and trial will be unavoidable for every earth human being, when he or she must reveal his or her values in the knowledge and ability, and in his or her wisdom and love. Every human being has it in his or her hands, whether they, by this examination, are found wanting, or whether they find their relative absolute fulfillment as the value of values. The earth human being still has time to decide freely, according to his or her volition, to turn to the true being, or to go his or her way into the damnation. But he or she should not think that this time of the free decision still lasts for a long time, because the first signs of the time have already manifested themselves as great changes and demanded manifold tribute, and the wheel of the time will continue to turn unstoppably and bring new signs. If they, however, are not heeded, new tributes will have to be paid by the human beings, bloody, evil, and merciless. All those will thus swim in the seas of the death and of the damnation who want to adversely oppose the truth and dwell in material values.